People always say that pregnancy brings out the best in people. You hear stories about glowing skin, joyful families, excited grandparents, and warm celebrations. Well, not in my case. In my case, pregnancy brought out the absolute worst in one particular family member. My sister-in-law. Now, I know people say you shouldn't air dirty laundry about family, but let me tell you, this woman is a piece of work. She's loud, opinionated, controlling, and somehow manages to make everything about her. She never apologizes, never admits when she's wrong, and if she feels wronged, even in the smallest way, she lashes out like a volcano erupting. For years I just put up with her nonsense. Rolled my eyes, let her words bounce off me, and moved on. But when I got pregnant, things changed. Because this time, she made the mistake of thinking she could control me and my baby. And that's when I decided to hit her with the pettiest, yet most satisfying revenge of my life. My sister-in-law, let's call her Karen, because honestly that's exactly what she is, had a reputation. At family gatherings, she was always the loudest voice in the room. If someone disagreed with her opinion, whether it was about politics, parenting, or the proper way to fold laundry, she'd go off. She didn't debate, she bulldozed. She'd slam her hands on the table, shout over everyone else, and roll her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. And if she really didn't get her way, well then it turned physical. She had shoved cousins, thrown things across the room, and once even slapped her own husband during an argument. Nobody dared call her out, though. She was like a storm that people just waited out. I learned early on that the easiest way to survive her was to keep my head down and let her rant. I wasn't close to her. I tolerated her. But that tolerance was about to be tested. When my husband and I found out I was pregnant, it was the happiest moment of our lives. We cried, we hugged, and we promised each other we were going to do this our way. One of those decisions was that we didn't want to find out the baby's sex until delivery day. Why? Simple. I'm a type A planner, yes, but there was something beautiful about the mystery of it. I wanted that magical moment in the delivery room where the doctor announces, "It's a boy," or "It's a girl," and we get to experience pure surprise. My husband was on board, and that was all that mattered. Well, until Karen found out. We announced the pregnancy at a family dinner. Everyone cheered, hugged us, congratulated us. And then Karen asked, "So, is it a boy or a girl?" I smiled and said, "We're waiting until the birth to find out." The look on her face was priceless. It was as if I'd told her we were raising the baby on Mars. "What do you mean you're not finding out? That's ridiculous. You have to know." I calmly explained that we didn't have to know, that it was our choice. But she wasn't having it. She scoffed, rolled her eyes, and muttered something about irresponsible parenting. I ignored her. But deep down I could feel the battle lines being drawn. From that moment on, Karen became obsessed. Every time we saw her, she brought it up. "Come on, just tell me. Do you think it's a boy? Do you feel like it's a girl?" I'd smile and repeat the same line. "We'll all find out on delivery day." It drove her insane. She tried everything. Bribery. "If you tell me, I'll buy the crib." Guilt trips. "Don't you want your niece or nephew to have gifts picked out properly?" Fake concern. "It's dangerous not to know, how will you plan?" I didn't budge. Her behavior started spiraling. She cornered my husband one night and tried to convince him to spill the beans. He told her the truth. We didn't know either. That made her even angrier. She spread rumors in the family, saying we were keeping secrets from everyone. She even told people that maybe the baby had health problems and that's why we weren't saying anything. The final straw. She actually tried to bribe our ultrasound tech. No, I'm not joking. She offered money for the results. Luckily, the nurse was professional and shut her down immediately. But when I heard about it, I was stunned. That's when it clicked. Karen wasn't just annoyed. She was unraveling. And I realized that I had a weapon, a way to drive her crazy without lifting a finger. From that point on, I leaned in. Every little comment she made only fueled me more. Every time she rolled her eyes, I smiled. Every time she begged, I calmly repeated, "We'll all find out on delivery day." It was delicious. She tried to read into everything I did. If I bought a neutral-colored baby blanket, she'd accuse me of hiding something. If I smiled when someone guessed boy, she'd yell, "See, I knew it." Family gatherings turned into comedy shows. Karen would interrogate me, and I'd respond with the same calm, patient tone, while she turned red with frustration. Everyone else started snickering behind her back. I had found her weakness. She couldn't stand not being in control, and I was in total control of this situation. Fast forward 9 months. The big day arrives. I'm in labor, my husband by my side, nurses working around us. And guess who shows up at the hospital uninvited? Karen. She tried to push her way into the delivery room, insisting she had a right to be there. The nurses had to physically block her. She screamed, demanded, threw a fit, until security finally escorted her to the waiting area. I should have been stressed, but honestly, I was laughing inside. Even in one of the most vulnerable moments of my life, she couldn't stand not being the center of attention. Hours later, our beautiful baby was born. The doctor announced the sex, and tears filled my eyes. It was the most magical, unforgettable moment of my life. Meanwhile, Karen was pacing outside like a caged animal, desperate to know. We took our sweet time announcing it. We held our baby, soaked in the moment, called our parents first, and savored every second before finally letting Karen know. When she heard, her reaction was anticlimactic. She forced a smile, muttered, "Oh, great," and stormed out of the hospital. I swear I could hear the steam whistling out of her ears. Looking back, I realize how petty it was. I could have just shrugged off her obsession, or even given in. But why would I? This was the one thing she couldn't take from me. She couldn't bully, bribe, or scream her way into control. The power was mine, and mine alone. And honestly, carried me through. Every time I wanted to cave and find out the baby's sex, I thought of her face. Red, furious, desperate, and it gave me the strength to hold out. It wasn't just about the baby anymore. It was about proving that some things were mine to keep, no matter how much she demanded otherwise. So yes, it was petty, but it was also the sweetest revenge. And I'll tell you this. For the next pregnancy, I'm doing the exact same thing. Not just for the surprise, but because nothing is more satisfying than watching Karen lose her mind. And that's the story of how my toxic sister-in-law made my pregnancy about her, and how I turned her obsession into the ultimate petty revenge. What do you think? Was I too petty, or was this the perfect way to deal with someone so controlling? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you've ever gotten sweet revenge on a family member, I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next tales of revenge. Until next time, remember, sometimes the pettiest victories are the sweetest ones.